Hello, my friends. It is me, Karen Valentine, and welcome to day one of the Spooktober Colorathon. I am so grateful to be part of an incredible lineup of artists and colorists, and I just can't believe that we're here. So I want to thank you all for joining me. It's going to be a 3-hour video today. If you're new to my channel, please consider coming back and checking out some of my other videos. And if you like what you see, it would be awesome if you would like to subscribe or like any of the videos. That would be wonderful. So today is 3 hours. Tomorrow I come on again at 1 p.m. Pacific time, and we'll do another 3 hours. And then I will probably have to finish her up after the weekend event is over, because there's a lot to do on this page, and I don't know if I'll be able to get it all done in 6 hours. So if you need to see the schedule, if you haven't seen it already, I will have it posted on my Facebook page, and the link for that is in the description box under this video. And you can click on it and find your specific time zone to see what time myself and then all the other colorists are going to be streaming. So I feel very, very lucky to be coloring this beautiful image called Mrs. Grim Reaper. And this image is by Sheryl Lafond, and you will find a link to this page if you don't already have it in her in the description box below the video to her Etsy shop. So yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun, and let's get started. All righty. So before I get started, I wanted to share with you a little bit about this paper. If you are a subscriber already, you probably know that I have a really hard time using Strathmore toned tan paper. And I've seen so many incredible works of art created on that paper, and I've tried it multiple times, and every time I wind up hating it. It's just too toothy for me. I tend to like a smoother paper. And so when I discovered this paper, I was in, it was like the heavens opened up and the angels started singing. So this is a paper called Desert Storm. The color is Desert Storm. It's by Nina Environment, and I will have a link to that paper down in the description box. It seems like it's a little bit expensive, because when you order the pack, you're ordering a pack of like 250 sheets. But when I compare it cost per sheet to what the Strathmore toned tan paper costs, this is actually much, much cheaper. And so if you don't like toned tan paper, but you still want to get the look and the luminance that this paper for some reason gives portraits and things like that, guys, you got to try this paper. This is like, I don't ever want to color on any paper other than this ever again. So if you are going to be coloring on white paper, I will try and give you the directions as I'm going, as far as if there are any changes to what you should do with the white paper versus the tan paper. So I am going to start with the white highlights, and it is a really lovely thing to be able to see what I am doing. That's one thing that you can't see when you're using white paper, is where those white highlights are going to go. So if you're doing this on white, I would probably skip the white highlights to start with. And when you're adding your color, you're just going to kind of leave some of the white showing. I tried before adding white first And I don't seem to get as good of a finished product as I do when I just leave the highlight white. Let's see, I'm going to zoom in for you guys so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay. If you are new to my channel, I don't think I wanted that to be quite so white. Oh well, we'll cover that up. If you're new to my channel, you will learn quickly that occasionally I do get carried away and I start coloring off camera. And when you're not doing a stream, nobody can tell you, hey, dummy, you're off camera. I've gotten better at it than I used to be when I first started coloring, but I'm apologizing in advance if I do that during this video, because occasionally it does happen. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead and do her hands too. This is such a cool image. It's like the perfect mix of scary and beautiful at the same time. So obviously, if you're going to color it your own way, you know, you could, if you wanted to, you could make her quite the scary creature. But I'm a little more inclined to make her a beautiful Grim Reaper as opposed to a scary Grim Reaper. Okay, do I have enough there? I think I do. Let's get a little bit right here. And I'm going to go ahead and do her whites. Bit of highlight under her brow. I think that'll do it for now. Okay, so next color is Chestnut. As I was kind of trying to decide on the colors that I was going to do for her, I wanted her to still look very pale and gaunt. So hopefully I achieved that. Sometimes it's hard not to want to just really rosy them up and make them look, you know, super pretty, but so I'm using a really light pressure right now. I just love doing faces. Portraits are one of my favorite things to color. And it's funny because when I first started coloring, they were the thing that intimidated me the most and that I thought I could never do. And now they're the things I love to do the most. Give her some good deep shadows under her eyes. Sometimes I'm extremely chitty-chatty while I'm coloring, and sometimes I just concentrate. And it would figure that one time that I would hope that I would have tons to say, I'm just feeling a little quiet. So I'm gonna rely on you guys in the chat to handle the talking portion of the video. I did my very first premiere video last week to test out the procedure, because I had never done one before and I didn't want to mess up and have it not go smoothly for this weekend. And that was so much fun. It was the first time ever doing it, and it was such a great experience that I am sure that I will do some more. Or maybe even, who knows, maybe I'll do a live stream occasionally as well. But I do love to do just this format of video color alongs and tutorials and stuff like that. So that premiere feature is really nice because I can do the format that I really like and that I'm comfortable with, and still have a chat to go along with it. So it's pretty cool. Okay, am I ready for the next color? Let's do Sienna Brown. It looks weird looking into her eyes and seeing nothing, no pupil or anything. We'll add that in a little bit. I have a feeling that 3 hours is going to go by really, really fast. But we'll get as much done as we can, and then you guys are just going to have to come back after the weekend to finish it off. Okay. I'm really looking forward to going over and checking out some of the other streams. There's some wonderful images in this month's Colorathon, so I think it'll be a lot of fun. Okay, let's add our light peach. That's Cooper. He's my Welsh Springer Spaniel. He's barking at, I think he's barking at his papa who's out front. I told the ladies last week I would show you a picture of my, a picture of him on my next video, but I may have to wait until this Colorathon is over because I really want to try and get as far into this video as I can. Okay, the other nice thing about this paper is that I can put the white down, and even if I go over it with the light peach, it still shows through, which is really nice. I don't know, it has some behaviors, I'm sure very similar to the toned tan. It has some behaviors that white paper just does not do. And I wish I had a reason or an explanation as to why that is, but I'll just be happy that I found it, and that'll be that. I know she doesn't look very good right now, but she's going to get better. When I first started using this, I had to realize I missed the white. I'm going to throw some white right here. I realized I had to get used to how the image looked as I was going along, because I thought, uh-oh, this is not going to be good. And then as I kept going, though, it just kept getting better and better and better. So different papers all behave differently, that's for sure. Okay, let's add some espresso. I'm going to do that around the outer edges and in the darkest shadow areas. And I'm using a really light pressure because it's a dark color, and if you press too hard, it's really going to show up dark. We don't want that. Be able to add some more layers after we blend this out a little bit. Okay, do I want to add, I'm going to give her a little thingy there. I may want to come back. Those blank irises are making me crazy, so I'm just going to come in. Even just doing that makes a difference. I don't feel like, there we go. Okay. I don't know why that was bugging me, but alrighty. Now we're gonna take cream. Normally I would do maybe like eggshell, but I want to try and keep her looking very pale. So we're gonna blend this out with the cream. And for now, I'm going to not go over the whitest areas. I'm gonna leave that for now, and if I need to do something about it later, I will. But for right now, we're just gonna stay away. I'm using this to try and really blend out the shadows so that they're nice and smooth, and she looks like she's got kind of a gaunt look to her. So my pressure now is quite a bit more firm than it was when I was adding the darker colors. And it looks like I missed a little bit of light peach, so I'm just going to bring that in right here. So when I'm blending, I try and use circular movements and push the darker colors up into the lighter colors. Okay, let's do a little bit of black grape. And that also is going to go on the outer edges of her face. Again, I don't know why, I always seem to miss, I always seems to miss some kind of a body part when I'm doing a page. So I'm also going to use this in the bags under her eyes. Maybe a little bit more. Hopefully doing some really dark shading around her eyes will kind of help give her a little bit more of a gaunt look. Normally about now, if I was doing a regular portrait, I would want to be adding like cheek color and things like that. But we're not going to do that for her because we want to try and keep her as unrosy cheeked as possible, I think. Okay, let's do maybe a little bit more espresso, I think. And then we're going to blend again. Okay, let's, I think this is what I'm supposed to do now. You know, I wrote down what I did on the first time that I did this, because I wanted to make sure that I did it well. I wanted you guys to, I didn't want to fall flat on my face on my first time doing one of these. So, all right, so we're blending this out now with the white. So if you hear paper rustling or whatever in the background, that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at my page to make sure that I'm doing what I practiced. And then sometimes when I'm doing skin, if I'm unsure about what to do next, a lot of the times it really helps if I stop and I do the eyes and lips, because that will completely change the way the face looks and what the skin looks like, and that often can really help you make your decision as far as what to do next. Or if anything, if you even need to do anything else on the skin. Make sure we add good highlight right here. Brighten that up right there. So I think I'm going to stop and do the eyes and the lips, and we will, and then I'll know better if I want to keep going on the skin or not. So for the eyes, I think I can even zoom in a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so for the eyes, I'm going to start with a little bit of Nectar, and that's going to go in the corners. And I probably will cover it up, but I'm still going to put some right there on the water line, just because. Okay, then 20% cool gray, and that's going to go on the outer corners. This is going to help make those eyes look more three-dimensional, more rounded. And then 50% cool gray as well. Then I'm going to take light umber, and I'm going to start from the, it really doesn't matter if you start from the middle and go out or start from out and go in. But we're going to do light umber and just make those little lines radiating. Then, let's see, I wonder if I have a different espresso somewhere, maybe. Oh, yeah, right there. So then espresso is going to go on the outer edge. A little bit darker. In fact, I might use some black. So, if you are new to my channel, well, if you're an old subscriber, you know how much I love my Schpirerr Farben black. You can use polychromos black as well. And the reason that I like these is because they're a very warm black, as opposed to the Prismacolor black, which is maybe a true black or kind of a cool black. These almost have a sort of a brownish tint to them when used and blended over lighter colors. So I tend to use these a lot. So that is why you'll see me using a Schpirerr Farben black instead of a regular black. So let's go ahead. I'm going to darken this outer edge a little bit, I think. But it seems like I use this black more than my Prisma black. So I'm just going to deepen that to start with, and we'll come back to that in a minute. Do that. I need to add some shadow on her eyeball. I need to add some shadow on her eyeball a little bit. So let's see, I need something that I don't have pulled out. So I think I'll take 70% cool gray. I'm just going to use that right underneath her eyelid. And then let's go ahead and do the eyelashes. The other thing I like about the Schpirerr Farben and the Polychromos black is they are harder. So when you're working on eyes and things like that, you get a nice sharp point for doing fine stuff. Okay, I think I want the Espresso. Oh, no, we'll just keep using this for now. So I'm doing okay. Take some espresso. I'm going to go over those lashes. And down here as well. And I don't think her bags under her eyes are deep enough. So I'm going to use this espresso. There we go. That's better. Okay, now let's see, I don't know why, but there's something about this that's bugging me. It's not quite right. So I'm going to take the light umber and blend out that line a little bit. Okay, now we're going to take Crimson Red. I'm going to sharpen it. Oh, well, that didn't work. There we go. And with a really light pressure, I'm going to put that in the corners of each eye. Well, it would help if my point wasn't broken. I usually have no problems at all with my Prismas until I'm on camera, right? Okay, and then I'm going to put some of this on the inner circle, or the outer circle, I guess, of her iris. And blend that out a little bit back and forth. I don't want her eyes to be, you know, red. I mean, I don't want the irises to be red, but I want you to be able to see red in them. Okay, I think, I don't know why. So, but I am gonna, I want her eyes to be really light. And that felt a little bit dark. And then sometimes all you need is that little bit of white Posca, and it totally like makes her, it brings her eyes to life. It makes her look real. And it always fascinates me how that just, boom, now the eyes look so much more lifelike. So that's cool. And I can tell already that I'm going to want to add some more color into her her skin, but let's do the lips first. So I'm going to add some white to the center here. Like that. Oh, let's do her teeth too. Okay, now I always use, and I don't know why, but I always like to use Nectar as the base color. No matter what color goes on top, Nectar always goes on bottom. I always go with in lines in the direction that the lips would have lines. You know what I'm trying to say. Okay, so that was Nectar. And then I think I want Tuscan Red for her lips. And I thought I had that pulled out, but I guess I don't. Okay, so Tuscan Red. Boy, my hand looked really big just there. And again, we're going to go in the direction that the lines would naturally be on the lips. And just do lots of little lines. Trying to leave the white highlight alone as best we can. And then I'm going to try and go a little bit darker at the bottom of the upper lip. And the bottom of the lower lip, just kind of where I think the shadow or the darkness would be, so we can try and get them to look more three-dimensional that way. And then I do love to use my blenders. It's not. Okay. her lips don't look quite red enough to me, the way that I kind of want them to, so I'm going to add some crimson red and see if that helps. Of course, I need to do that with a pencil that's not broken, though. Okay. Don't know what's going on there, but that's a little bit better, I think. I think. Okay, and then how about some black right in the crease? Not really, it's not really a crease, right? Right where the two lips meet. Okay, I'm gonna zoom out just a bit. This was really tight. And her cheeks, even though I don't want them to be all rosy, I do think that they need to be a little bit warmer. So this is Chestnut. And that happens a lot when it probably happened because I blended with the white, so it kind of faded everything out. But I did want her to have a real pale look, so that's okay. We can just add it back in. The beauty of this paper is that it takes a lot more layers than my white cardstock. So. And then I'm going to use my Caran blender to blend that now. I feel like she needs more color here. There's a certain amount of pressure to speed through stuff. But I don't want to do that because I want to try and get the finished results to be, you know, nice. Okay. I'm not happy, again, still with her eyes, and I don't know why. So a little bit more. Of this light umber in there. That's a little bit better. And I think I still want a little bit more darker color underneath her eyes. So this is the Espresso. Oh, see, that feels a little bit better. Going to zoom out here for a sec. Okay, I think I know what the problem is that she still doesn't have enough color around the outer edges of her skin. gonna add some more. This is the Chestnut. Yep, that was the problem. She wasn't looking three-dimensional enough. She was kind of too flat. That's looking better. I think we'll do a little bit more on her hands too. Sometimes it's just what happens. You work on something and, well, at least I do. I'll work on something and think I know exactly what I'm doing, and then it takes a turn for the worse. Actually, it's not a turn for the worse. It's just, it needed more than I that it would. Okay, I think we're gonna call that good. As soon as I blend this out, we're gonna move on to her hair. The nice thing about blending with these colorless blenders is that I'm not removing or adding light colors on top to take away all the work we just did. So there we go. That feels better. Almost. It almost feels better. Something's not right about her lips, and I don't know why. Did I use the wrong color on her? No, I didn't. Something's weird about the color I'm getting from her lips. Well, that's a little bit better. Okay, I can live with that. I can live with that. So let's go ahead and do her hair. So her hair is basically white, 20% gray, 50% cool gray, and black. So I'm going to put the white down as the highlight color, right in the kind of the center of each one of these little bits of hair. Actually, you know what? I'm changing my mind. I'm putting white down on all of the hair. If you are doing this on a white piece of paper, I think I would just do the white in the center of the hair, like you would do a highlight for any color, anytime you're doing hair. Okay, then we're going to take 20% cool gray. And feather that into the center. Then 50% cool gray. We're going to do the same thing. Okay, then probably you could use the black of your choice, but I think you'll be able to see what I'm talking about here as far as warm. No, maybe not. Warm black versus cool black. And if we want to, we can go ahead and put the shadows that the hood is going to cast now, or we can wait until we do the hood. I'm going to take my blender, which may not be necessary, but I like to do it anyway. I'll always blend in the direction of the hair. Okay. Let's do the fingernails. Fingernails, we're going to use Peach Beige and Sandbar Brown, which is somewhere around here. Right there. Okay. Beige. What do I want to do with those? I think I'm going to do... Oh, we're getting a delivery. I can't remember what I did. I think I'm going to do white down first. If you are doing this on white paper, I don't think you even need to add the white. I think you can just go straight for the peach beige and the Sandbar Brown. And leave yourself a little bit of a highlight on the center tops of the nails. And And then the Sandbar Brown we're going to use to grunge them up right at the base of the fingernail and on the tips. Okay, skeleton hand time, I think. So if you are doing this on white paper, then I would not even bother putting white down. You can use the white at the end to blend, I think is what you should do. So if you're coloring along, I would just take a time out, go get something to drink. And then you can start with the next color. I realized one of the other things that I did differently on the first one is I gave her a little bit thicker of a eyebrow. So I think we'll go back and do that as well. Okay, so if you are coloring on white paper, you can go ahead and break out your 50% cool gray. Use a light touch. And we're just going to kind of go in like where the shadows would be, maybe in the creases where the bones connect. On the underside where the shadows would be. Then we're going to use Sandbar Brown. And almost go in the same places, right over that gray. then if you're on white, you can take your white pencil and add the white and blend out what you've done with the gray and the Sandbar Brown. So since we have the white in our hands, let's go ahead and do the skulls. So before I came on camera, in the interest of time, and this is just me, you do whatever makes you happy. You know, when you print out your page, you have this little skinny line, unprinted line all the way around your page, because I don't know about you, but my printer doesn't print edge to edge. So I just went through with my pencil and drew in the rest of the image, you know, just to bring it off to the edge of the page, because that's how I like it. The other option that I would have had would be to take a ruler and a pencil and draw a line around to end the drawing. But I like to have a definitive end to where the drawings is. So that's why I do it that way. So you can do that, or you can give yourself a little line, or you can leave it alone, whatever makes you happy. So again, if you're on white paper, you don't have to do this, but if you're not and you're on tan paper, then I would add the white first. And using reference photos for stuff like this, things that are, you know, realistic. Most things in coloring pages are somewhat realistic. Using reference photos really, really, really helps me, because I don't have that photographic kind of memory where I can just know exactly what an image looks like. So if you pull up pictures of skulls or roses or whatever, it helps to have a picture to remind you of where shadows and colors and things like that should go. This is skull. Okay, and then I drew in down here in the bottom corner. I couldn't quite tell what Sheryl had here, so I decided to make it a skull. doesn't, that's okay too. Okay, so for the skulls, we have Peach Beige, Sandbar Brown, and Light Umber. So Peach Beige, Sandbar Brown, White, and Light Umber. Okay, so we're going to use the Peach Beige. And that's just going to kind of age the skull down. So if you're on white paper, you want to use this, but not necessarily all over. Make sure you're in. Okay, let's do, you know what, just for my own benefit, let's do the black next. It's gonna be in there. Oh, I need to get the teeth done over here. Okay, oh, nose. And sharpen my pencil. Get the teeth. Okay, let's do some light umber. And then I'm going to take the Sandbar Brown, and that's going to go on the teeth. don't know why, but I feel like I want to add some gray to this. So let me just experiment here a little bit. I think 20% is going to be too light. I may switch to 30. Oh, I think this is okay. So I'm going to use some 50% cool gray on here as well. Real light. And then if you're on white paper, after you do this, you can go ahead and take your white and blend it all together. Okay. Sandbar Brown on the teeth. This one I think I'm not worrying so much about the detail on because it's so tiny and down low that I don't think it will show up after we get everything else done. So I think that's good enough. Okay, so there we are so far. What should we do next? Let's go ahead and do her cloak. So I know I talked about doing her eyebrows, so let me do those real quick. I want her eyebrows to still be black even though her hair is gray. And I want them to be a little bit thicker. Yeah, that's a little better. I just like a heavy brow, I guess. Okay, so for her cloak, I decided to do this kind of like a, I don't know if shroud is the right word, but I wanted it to contrast with the black cloak. So it's kind of like an old ratty white something. I don't know what to call it, but that's what we're going to do for her over here. So just to ensure that I don't put black where I don't want it, I'm going to go ahead and put the white in for this piece of fabric. And then hopefully I won't make a mistake. So we should do a giveaway. Sheryl has very sweetly offered to do a free image from her Etsy shop. So because I'm actually not live, and this has actually been pre-recorded, I'll go ahead and have you guys pick a number between 1 and 100. And in the chat where I will be when this is being shown, I'll go ahead and pull out the random number generator on my phone, and then I'll randomly pick a number. So that's the only way that I can think of to do it. And I'm not sure what the time. I think maybe what I'll do is I'll on the thing I'll say, okay, ready, set, go. We'll count 1 minute maybe, and everybody can put their number in, and then I'll announce the winner. And I think we'll do it like that. So that will be my cue to tell everybody ready, set, go. And then when we have a winner, we'll make sure that you and Sheryl get connected, and you can get your free page. So that'll be kind of fun. This is going to come in handy because I know if I didn't do it now, I'll put black over it and mess it up. Okay, let's see. This is white. That looks like it for this part. And then this is also going to be white. Sure you're right. Well, it's definitely not going to be white, but you know what I mean. It's so weird. I don't know why I feel so nervous about this. I'm never nervous when I do my regular videos, but for some reason, I feel like I'm not at my best. Okay, so there's that. Now, if you are coloring on a white page, I think in this case, I would still go ahead and put in the white where you want it to be. So, yes, I still think I would put in the white highlights first. Really, all we're trying to do is ensure some definition between, because, you know, black is so dark that if you don't put some white in, it's just going to look like a solid colored, uninteresting thing. So this way, hopefully it'll look like fabric. So I'm kind of trying to put the highlight where I think the top, where I think the fabric would be raised. And then we'll put some even darker blacks in where I think it would be in its deepest recesses. And hopefully it will turn out right. Oh, I just realized I missed a whole part of the hand down here. And I'm not sure what that is, if that's part of the wrist or not. I don't think it is, but maybe it is. Okay, we'll count it as it is. All right, do I have enough highlights down on here now? We can always add more if we need to, right? Now, if you're coloring on white paper, adding white on top of black is not as easy. So make sure you get as many highlights down as you think you're going to need. And that should prevent the black from going where you don't want it. Okay, now we're going to use Prisma Black. And this is where I really want to make sure I have my brush, because this will make a mess. So I don't want to go too dark to start with. I do want to build up the layers. So just use a, you know, a medium pressure, unless, of course, you have an area where you know you want it to be really dark. And then to be able to differentiate that, maybe throw a little bit of the darker color down, if that makes sense. I'm going to leave this kind of zoomed out because I don't think that it's anything that's really complicated. At this point, we're just kind of going to fill in. And I'm looking here, I'm thinking that maybe keep your white pencil handy, because sometimes you might want to change your mind about where that highlight will go. Okay. So medium pressure. And in the areas where I have the white, it's going to kind of turn gray, which is okay. You don't, it doesn't need to be just black and white. You want variation of color too. So here's this little area right here that I know I want to be extra dark. So I'm going to darken it right now, extra dark, so I don't lose it in the, as I'm covering this all with the color pencil. Again, another area right here, which I know I want to be darker. So I know it probably looks like I'm going just straight back and forth, but I'm actually doing ovals. And I know you guys have heard this a gazillion times, but little circles or ovals are always going to give you better coverage and help to fill in the tooth of paper so that you don't have discernible lines. I know, you guys know that. Go a little bit darker down here at the base of this and then let it lighten up. And I'm kind of covering some of the white, but not all of it. And I think I want some light right here. You know, sometimes filling in, that's my dog. Sometimes filling in large areas can be kind of dull, but the end result can be so good. He's crying because his papa is just pulled up out front. And you should hear the way he carries on every night when Steve comes home from work. He cries and whines like he hasn't seen him in a month. we're getting there. When there's a piece that's this full with detail, it seems to get easier and easier as you add each different layer, because then it gets easier to see what things are supposed to be. Sheryl did just such an amazing job on this image with all the detail. But it can seem kind of intimidating to start with, but if you just take it one element at a time and work on that, then it gets easier and easier. So let's figure out, we also have to put some color behind this hourglass. So I think I did. See, I made a mistake. I got carried away. So I'm erasing right here because that, I believe, is part of this vine. So we'll have that vine be there. And I'm going to bring that vine down and disappear behind the sand. And then there it is again. So the black, and this is the tombstone. So I think we're good to go to add black right in here. Which is behind, what is that right there though? I think that's still black. So there's the black showing behind the coloring of the hourglass. And let's do a little bit more white right there. And then this will be dark. I'm going to use my other black because it's nice and sharp. Just to put in those, the deepest areas that are recessed in there. Okay. That should have been a little bit wider. we're going to blend this all out anyway, so it'll be good. Just going a little bit darker, and this is going to be dark. And I'm going to go ahead and just do the inside of the sleeve nice and dark. But the reason I don't press down really hard right away for this whole thing is because it'll get all crumbly, and we'll just have a mess. So this way we're going to build it up in 2 layers, and I think it'll work a lot better. Okay, so there's layer 1. Oh, nope, not quite. Almost layer 1. Almost layer 1. I got a little too ambitious. Anxious, a little too anxious. Okay. That's layer 1. So we're going to do it one more time. So normally, if this was one of my normal videos, I would probably switch to like a little double time speed coloring on this part. But since we're kind of live, we'll just do it again. I think, if I remember right, 2 layers is going to be enough, because we're going to break out the blender and you're going to watch it transform. Hopefully I am correct on that. In my memory, that's what I'm remembering. But if not, we'll add another color. Now, second coat does definitely go faster than the first coat, though. I know, this isn't the fun part, guys. I'm sorry. I probably should have chosen to do this on a subsequent video, but it looks so good when it's finished. Y'all are chatting anyway. So it'll probably be just fine. I'm not going to put a second coat on the area behind the hourglass because I want it to kind of have a smoky lighter color feel anyway. Sometimes coloring in the opposite direction of what you did the first time helps fill in that tooth of that paper as well. What you doing, Coop? I can hear you. Silly dog. Okay, let's try blending and see what happens. I'm going to zoom in. And hopefully, like magic, yay! Okay, so now with the Caran blender, as I blend this out, it gets nice and dark. And the highlights still show up. The grays, they turn to gray. And any area that I feel like I want to add more highlight to, I can always add white afterwards. But this blender, I just absolutely adore this blender. It does such a nice job. Yeah. It's like magic. It does tend to you know, get a little crumbly, but it's definitely tolerable. And it blends things, in my opinion, much more smoothly than the Prismacolor blender. I like the Prismacolor blender for fine detail blending, but I like this blender for large areas. So also sometimes, and I didn't do that, although I have my my finished page, but sometimes it helps to have a second copy printed, even if you just print it on, you know, crummy you know, printer paper. But what's nice about having another image printed is that you can refer back to it, because as you're coloring and you're covering the lines up with your pencil, sometimes you color lines up that it's nice to know where they are and to remember where they are. So having a second copy printed makes it really easy to be able to refer back to it and go, oh, well, looky there, I should have a highlight there, or I should have a line there, or whatever. Did I put a second coat of color there? I don't think I did. It's amazing how much better she looks, though, now that she's got color around her face. That made a big difference. Oh, see, what did I tell you? I told you to expect me to go off. I told you to expect me to go off screen, and I did. I get lost in what I'm doing. Oh well, at least it wasn't anything important, right? Good grief. It's because I'm zoomed in so much. I need to zoom out. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna put some gray right in here, like where her hair would show, but then it would also have a little bit of a shadow, so we'll just do it like that. And let's see. I'm going to use the Schpirerr Farben Black. Just to define some of these areas that I feel like need it. This looks like it needs a little bit more blending. Okay. Let's add the shadow that would go under her cloak on top of her hair. And we'll blend that out too. Okay, I think I'm going to add some white, just kind of right here on the edge of her sleeve to help separate it from the inner sleeve there. And is there anywhere else that I feel like I want to add some more? I think that looks pretty good. That's probably too bright of white. So let's add a little bit. And I think this is too bright of white too. We want it light, we don't want it white. Okay, we might as well go ahead and finish up on the rest of her clothing. So for her white shroud, we're going to use light umber, 50% cool gray, which is here somewhere. Yep. 90% French gray. And what else we got? Beige Sienna and Sandbar Brown. So I know those are already out here somewhere. There's Sandbar Brown. And where's the Beige Sienna? You should see my desk, guys. It's like a bomb went off on it. There's stuff everywhere. Beige Sienna. Did I already get that out? Nope, there it is. Okay. So we want to kind of, let's go ahead and add the black that goes in here. Our little torn holes. Okay, so I want to start dirtying it up a little bit. And really, there's not much rhyme or reason for this. We just really don't want it to be white. So I'm going to start with Sandbar Brown. Nope, sorry, start with Beige Sienna. I misspoke. And I think one more time, guys, if you're doing this on a white paper, you'll skip the white, go straight to these colors. Not that they're really colors, but you know what I mean. And then blend the whole thing out with white. And then you can go back in and add more if you feel like you need to. So this is light umber. And I really kind of want to try and just make it as dirty looking as I can. So I also might come in with white afterwards and blend everything together. Let's try a little bit of Sandbar Brown because it's kind of a cool brown, kind of a, I don't know, it just seems like a dirtier color to me, so. And debating on browns or grays for the shadows. I used gray before, but part of me is thinking I might want to use brown. Maybe I'll try a lighter gray. Let's try 20% cool gray. Kind of using this to blend instead of the white, and that's kind of working out nicely. Okay, let's do some 90% French gray. Might do that for the, oh, I like that. Yes, yes, yes. There really is no like definite rhyme or reason for why I'm doing most of this. It's just kind of what feels right. And sometimes that pays off and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, I'm gonna grab the white and do some blending. We're gonna have to come in and add some shadow on top of that when we do the vine. So I think I don't want to add too much more pencil there because I want to be able to have enough tooth to be able to add that shadow. So I'm going to come over here and start working on this one. So this is 50% cool gray. And Beige Sienna. Sandbar Brown. Let's do that kind of on top. Blend with white. Okay. What should we do next? Oh, I know what we should do next. This this whole area of black that I totally like spaced on doing. Jeez Louise. We will probably do this and then we may run out of time. That may be the end of today's video. We'll see. I have to make sure I stay on schedule. So I remember kind of why I didn't do the black down here, because we've got smoke that's going to come up here and I want to make sure I don't cover up any of that smoke. And let me get some white on here on the top edge. Am I in frame? Okay, the smoke is going to come around here. And I think that'll be okay. Do a little bit of white right there. I can see I forgot to, well, maybe I didn't. It's just not very dark. There's those lines. Okay, one more little light layer and then we'll blend this out. And then maybe we'll do the candle and the smoke. Okay. Blending away. And the nice thing is you can blend right over the white highlights, because we don't want them white. We just want them lighter. So that's good. Okay, I'm going to sharpen this. Okay, that's a little better. All right, now the question is, so this smoke actually is going to go over the background that I'm putting in here. So I think just because I'm going to go ahead and take the pen that I'm going to use to do the whole background, and I am going to do that right now so that I can do the white smoke when I want to. Okay, that's the candle. That I don't have to worry about yet, so we really only have to worry about that area right there. That way, there's no worries, and I can do that smoke whenever I feel like it. So this, I'm going to draw in some more drippy wax. I missed a bit of black right there. And I have my blender somewhere. Oh, I wanted my little pointy one, but this will work. Okay, so I need to do something that's not going to take up too much time. So let's go ahead and do the candles. So those are going to be cream, light umber, white, and black. So the cream is already out. So for the candles, I can pretty much cover the whole thing, but I'm still going to do it in sections just because. Do a little bit of white on the top edge, and maybe on the, I don't know why, just because. And then let's go ahead and do this one as well. So a little bit of white, top edge, and that's it. so now we're going to use the light umber. And that's going to go right on the edge under where the drip would be. And I'm just going to bring it down a little bit. And then on this one, actually, that one, the shadow would be, so I'm going to use 70% cool gray under the drip over here. And back to the light umber up here. And I don't know why, but I feel like for that one, I want it to be a little bit more defined. So back to that 70% cool gray, just to give it a little bit more shadow. This one kind of already has it because of the pencil mark, but I'm still going to do a little bit. Okay, and I think that I need to wait to do the smoke until I do the book. Okay, what do we have time for? How about the side handle? Let's do peach beige all over the whole handle, which on this paper you can't even see. Now I am going straight up and down in straight lines on here because it really doesn't matter. Okay, then we're going to use, what did I use? Sandbar Brown at 90% cool gray. Sandbar Brown, 90%. No, that's 70. Do I need to pull out 90? That's Espresso. Okay, so Sandbar Brown. Okay, 90% cool gray. And I feel like it needs something more, so let's try, this might be too warm. Maybe a little bit. So this is light umber. And I think French gray we might use. Yes. So this is going to go on the outer edge of both sides, I think, and hopefully we can give this kind of a rounded look. Oops, I missed a whole section up there. So what was that? Peach beige, beige sienna, Sandbar Brown, and French gray, 90% French gray. That looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to use my blender. Kind of staying away from the dark brown. That's not dark brown. The 90% cool gray that we put these little divots in with. Guess who I learned that from? Do I like the way that looks? That's the 90. This is 70. So I'm just gonna throw a few more lines down it with this 70% cool gray. That's not bad. And let's take some black. Go right under here. And under the rope. And we're going to need some shadow. Right there. Okay, how much time do we have left? About 15 minutes. So should we do? Could just blend this a little bit. You know, I think I'll use just this last little bit of time to just kind of work on just some things that are bugging me a little bit. So I'm going to blend her skin out a little bit more. And what else? I think add a little bit more white to the top of her lip. If you are doing that on white paper, you might need to use a Posca. For some reason, there's something about this brown paper that just lets white go over the top of it so easily. Another reason that I really, really like it. So there's not really anything left that I want to get started on. Because I want to make sure, I really want to make sure I don't run out of time. So this may be where we say goodbye. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, you guys. I know that there's a lot of very well-known, very talented colorists for you to go hang out with and spend your time with. You know what I can do right now? So I'm going to show you the difference between the original and what I did on the book. So I'm actually going to square off the corners of this book, of this cross. And then when we come back tomorrow, we'll work on as much as we can before we have to say goodbye again. And I am really looking forward to going and checking out all of the awesome streamers. Yeah, so that is what we're going to do. And if I forgot to do something that I was supposed to do or say something that I was supposed to say, I hope you will forgive me and realize that I am just a newbie and this is my first time doing a big event like this. And I'm very, very, very grateful to be here. And I hope you will come back and see me tomorrow as well, because we have still a lot to do. And I want to get as much done as I possibly can before the end of the weekend. So thank you so much, you guys. And I will see you all tomorrow, I hope. Bye.